Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Nate, and welcome back to another weather forecast discussion, this time for May 7th, 2022. Now, we've been live streaming for quite a long time, and you can already tell that my throat is already had enough. So what I'm going to do with this video here today is I'm going to make it short and sweet, but I'm also going to give you guys just a general idea of what is expected to happen over the next few days. I'll upload another video tomorrow to go a little bit more in depth as to what we can potentially expect. But for right now, we are going to want to continue to just talk about the general weather threat over the next couple of days. So something to make a note of, as we do have severe weather possible in the areas. Now, we do have some severe weather expected once again. This is the outlook here for tomorrow. So we have a localized 1 out of 5 in the severe weather scale for portions of South Dakota, southwestern Minnesota, and northern Nebraska. We also have another 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale over here for portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin, as well as Iowa. Maybe could get upgraded to a 2 out of 5 on the severe weather scale depending upon what could be happening, but definitely something interesting to note with that. And then we have a 15% chance for severe weather across portions that have been hit hard by the severe weather activity earlier on this week, to where there could potentially be some large hail and some strong damaging winds. And that seems to be the main threat throughout all these storms over the next 3 days. Now let's take a look at the simulated radar here from the North American model. Once again, the time is above me in Eastern, so keep in mind with that. You can see that the remnants of our low pressure system over here in the portions of the mid-Atlantic is still lingering and is expected to continue to linger even as this continues to progress. Now we have some severe thunderstorms that are expected over the portions of Manitoba and Saskatchewan as this continues to move on through, some lingering activity even further into the western prairies, so that is going to be something interesting to note. We also have some residual precipitation that is expected over the Pacific Northwest into the northern Rocky Mountains of the United States, so that is going to be something to consider as this moves on through. And then we're going to just continue to have more and more showers and thunderstorms that are going to push across the northern portions of the United States. Also note the counterclockwise spin with this low pressure system over here in the mid-Atlantic, and watch how this continues to kind of just spiral off more and more showers and thunderstorms along the coastline. So that is going to be something to note as that continues to move on through. I also want to make something to note how you can see some of these showers and thunderstorms continue to linger off into portions of the Dakotas, Nebraska, and Iowa. That is just severe weather risk more or less for portions of Sunday, so that'll continue to linger on forward more and more. Even into portions of Western Ontario could be getting some more precipitation, and even portions of Wyoming, they could be getting some activity, and also portions of Texas, they could be getting some scattered showers and thunderstorms possible within their area as well on Sunday night. Moving off into Monday, you can see how more showers and thunderstorms continue to exist across the northern plains in the United States. And it doesn't really show up all too much, but as we just kind of move off into the overnight hours of Monday into Tuesday, we get a lot of scattered showers and thunderstorms that form over here in Iowa. So let's actually talk about that a little bit more. As this moves off from the afternoon hours of Monday and into the evening hours on to Tuesday, you can see a lot of scattered showers and thunderstorms are possible over here towards areas from the Des Moines area all the way up into the La Crosse area, and it's just going to continue to be pretty scattered for the most part. So that is something to watch. For the most part, I do think it's going to be a wind and hail threat, so that is going to be something to note. But on the off chance, there could also be the threat for a singular tornado possible. I just don't think it'll be that big of a risk for these areas. We do have a relatively high dew point content, relatively high moisture content within this environment. And we do also have some relatively high surfacescape numbers here too. So that is something to note. If we take a look at the Helicity, we have some localized values of some very strong wind shear that is favorable for tornadoes to form. So it just really depends upon what thunderstorm can take advantage of that environment as it continues to move on through, but it is going to be pretty spotty for the most part. I'm taking a look at the 850 millibar vorticity, which is in the lower level portions of the atmosphere. Anything that can take advantage of this vorticity here is going to potentially be able to produce, once again, large hail, strong damaging winds. The potential of a tornado or two is possible. So just something to make a note of as this continues to progress here, because there is some decently high values of vorticity within this environment. Taking a look at the flow of the atmosphere here with our 500 millibar wind shear, and you can see that the areas of flow is designated within these relatively higher amounts of wind shear. So we do have some strong wind shear over the northern portions of the plains. You can see an interesting low pressure system that is trying to form here as this continues to progress. So something to make a note of here, especially as this moves off into the prairies of Canada, and then we can see another low pressure system that is expected to form over here into portions of the Pacific Northwest. So that's going to be something to watch out for. And then we have our other low pressure system, which is going to continue to sustain as long as there is wind shear. This is just going to continue to create a lot of moisture within this environment. So something to watch out for with that. And then finally, we have a high pressure system, a huge high pressure system over here that's going to create some significant amounts of heat over just practically the entire southern plains as well as areas near the Ozarks. So definitely something to watch out for with that. Let's take a look at the temperatures over the next 3 days because I want to emphasize something, and it's that not always is there going to have to be a tornado in order for conditions to be quite significant in, weather. So take a look here. You can see that we have some relatively hot temperatures at max here according to the model here. This is for today, or at least as soon as I upload this video. And you can see that as we continue to move off into tomorrow, we have some very high temperatures again over portions of Oklahoma and Texas. This is going to continue to exist over even into the next day. This will be Monday. You can see some very high temperatures across the board. Now, why is this super concerning? Well, I want to go ahead and take a look at the relative humidity here during these time periods. And I want you guys to note how high the relative humidity is across some of these areas. You can see here for today, we have some relatively high humidity here within these greens, and these had some relatively high temperatures as well. So some very high mugginess is expected over in some of these areas. Move off here into the peak hours of Sunday. You can see how we do have some relatively high humidity here within some of these areas. And then we'll move off into Tuesday here. We'll move off, well, I should say Monday into Tuesday. You can see we also have, once again, very high relative humidity across some of these areas. So heat stroke could potentially be an issue if you are in some of these areas that are prone to the excessive heat. So do keep in mind with that as this continues to move on through, especially if you are in the southern plains, could potentially get some very high temperatures and some very high relative humidity that can make things very, very uncomfortable. Now, what about the southern plains on day 4? So the Tuesday event. What about the severe weather over there? Well, we have a very well-established dry line here. You can see our dry line exists right here where we have dry dew points on the left-hand side and warm and moist dew points on the right-hand side. And so along this dry line is where you could potentially see some showers and thunderstorms within this area. Of course, if we go over to the surface-based cape, there's a plethora of it. It even extends further up north as well, but it's just there is a limiting factor more or less within that environment, and it's not allowing thunderstorms to form or sustain, whereas that limiting factor is not present over here in the portions of western Texas, and I'll get more into that in tomorrow's video. But more or less, there is expected to be some severe weather across portions of the southern plains, creating a lot of large hail, maybe some strong damaging winds, maybe a tornado or two possible, but other than that, it seems to be more of a large hail threat over in the portions of Texas and Oklahoma. Now, what is expected to happen even after this? All right, what is our general pattern going to be like? Well, remember, we have our low pressure system here because we have the general flow of some very strong wind shear just off the coast of the United States. We also have a new low pressure system right here because you can see the dip in the jet stream right within that area and the general flow of the wind shear in that area too. And we have a big high pressure system that is going to kind of block everything here more or less. So something to keep in mind with that. We're going to watch how this continues to play out. And it seems that high pressure system is going to continue to kind of hold this low pressure system in place. It's also going to hold this other low pressure system in place. You can see the giant clockwise flow more or less across the board here in the United States. So this low pressure system is going to kind of, sit more or less. It's going to sit still, move off across the Rockies, and we're going to see this continue to play out as this moves on through. Maybe a potential threat for severe weather towards the end of next week over here in the northern plains. That'll be something interesting to note. And then as this continues to move on through, maybe a severe weather threat over here for portions of the deep south the following week, sometime around May 18th. So something to monitor with that. Maybe a new atmospheric river with some more showers and thunderstorms that can continue to move off to the Pacific Northwest along that general time period as well, to where maybe potentially could even see another threat for severe weather somewhere in the portions of the northern plains. But for right now, looks like there could potentially be some severe weather in the southeast and maybe even the mid-Atlantic towards the beginner stages of the following week after this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed the coverage over the past few days. I know I definitely need a rest but I'm gonna get one. So fortunately for me, I'll be able to continue to provide more and more information for you all on YouTube, whether it's on the live stream department or it's on the video department. So yeah, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you're new, turn on notifications, share this with friends and family and on social media. Also follow me on social media, link will be in the description down below. If you want to become a member, if you want to support the channel, there's a join button down below as well. Click that, and it's basically like sponsorship. I really do appreciate the people who have actually done it so far. We have over 150 people who have done it. And last thing, we are over 32,000 subscribers now, 32,300 subscribers. It's an absolute, it's absolutely insane what you guys have done for my channel over the past few days. So thank you guys so much for the constant support. And I will catch you guys tomorrow. So peace out, everyone.